It's a late July day. It is blazing hot. I'm miserable. I'm 9 months pregnant. Huge. First time, last time being pregnant. All I want to do is soak my sorry, swollen ankles in a cool mountain stream. And I can do that because I live in Manitou. And I can just walk up Ruxton Creek, past the cog to the trail, and soak my ankles in the cool creek. Yes, that's not gonna happen. So I grab my 2 dogs, I grab my straw hat and my walking stick because I'm a little top heavy, and I set out. And I walk up past the cog, up the trail. It's starting to get cool. I can feel the cool canyon air coming down. Yes, I'm going to chillax. And then I see this beautiful brown butterfly flitting down the canyon, coming down the canyon, and then it turns, and it comes right at me. And it's getting bigger as it gets at me, and that is not a butterfly. That is a bat. It's a bat, and it's coming right at me, and oh my God, it lands on me. It lands on my shoulder. I have a tank top on. It's on my skin. It's on me. I like wildlife. Right? They love me. No, this is not normal. Bats should not be flying on a hot Saturday morning, and they should not be on me. So I am screaming, "Get it off me! Get it off me!" And I'm trying not to touch it, but trying to get it off me. And I don't even want to look at it. I'm like, ah! So I'm flicking away, and then somehow it does get off me. And it's over there, and I'm looking at it, and the dogs go, "Oh, let's get it." And I said, "No." I pull the dogs back, and I'm just trying to get a grip. And the little bat looks up, and then it starts to fly, and it starts to flap, flap, flap. And I said, "No," and it starts to go off into the bushes. And I think, oh, no, no, no. I'm a zoo vet. I can handle this. This bat is not well. It needs to be captured and tested for rabies. Because I'm hoping it does not have rabies. I can test it, prove it doesn't, and I don't have to get shots in my belly. No, they don't do shots in the belly anymore. But I still don't want to have to get shots. At this point, I'm a week from my due date. Really, I have enough stress. So before it gets too far, it's going off down the ravine towards the creek, and I grab my hat, and I go after it. And it's going through the bushes and kind of fluttering around, not doing too well. And I get down there, I squat down, and I get it under my hat. Yeah. That was brave. Maybe stupid. And then I hear people running down the trail, and they say, "We heard you screaming. Is it a bear? Is it a mountain lion? What is it? What is it? What is it?" I'm like, "It's a bat." Under my hat. And they're being very helpful. "Oh, we'll get a rock, and we'll smash it. You'll be fine." Hold up. We can't do that. We have to save its head because we have to preserve the brain because, trust me, I want to test this bat for rabies, and I don't want it to have rabies. And I got this. Don't worry about it. And they say, "Fine," and they walk off. So there I am back, me and the bat and the hat. It's a straw hat, right? Has holes in it. I have bare hands. Not good. But, and she tells me I can't squat down, but I really want to. Okay, I'm standing up. I reach kind of back up towards the top of the trail there with my leg, and I'm squatting down, and I grab my walking stick with my foot, and I roll it over, and I get it in my right hand, and I kind of feel the little bat moving around inside that hat, and I can kind of feel maybe where its head is, and I kind of squeeze it a little, and I get its little head pops out from under the brim of the hat. Oh, it's a tiny little head, the tiny little mouth, and these little razor-sharp teeth going, and it's making that ear-piercing sound. Yeah, okay, I can do this. I take the walking stick, and I hold the bat real still, and I look at it, and like I say, I like wildlife, but this bat is not well, and it needs to be put to sleep as quickly, as humanely as possible. And I take my walking stick, and I skewer it right through the chest. Yes. Thankfully, it dies instantly. Whew. Dead. Yay. I don't know if I've been exposed or not. I pick up the hat. I got a bat on a stick. And I look at the dogs and say, I'm so sorry, guys. We are not going to the creek right now. Change of plans. Turn around, carrying the bat, waddling back down the trail, past the cog, or getting to the cog, and the cog railway had just let off all its passengers. They're all going across the street to the parking lot. You know the scene? Here I come. Not wearing the hat, obviously. Bat on a stick, and they part the seas. And they just stare at me. What the? I'm just going back home. I get home and place the bat down, secure the dogs, put on my exam gloves, bleach, soap, disinfect everything, get out the Ziploc bags, a couple, put it over the bat, and de-skewer the bat. Zip up the Ziploc bag, a couple more Ziploc bags, zip it up. And I know that you can't preserve this anyway to get it tested other than putting it in your refrigerator. Clean out all the food. Put it in the bottom of the refrigerator. Close it. It's Saturday. What's going to happen? At this point, try to evaluate the damage. So did I get bitten? Did I get a scratch? There's a red mark. What is that? Is that him scratching me? Sometimes you can get rabies from being scratched if they have any saliva on them. It was on me for longer than I would like. Was it me just scratching myself trying to get the darn thing off? I don't know. And then there was the skewering incident, possibly exposed there. Probably not good. So I go to the phone book, and this is in 2002, and there's a rabies hotline, and I call up the rabies hotline. Yes. Nobody answers the rabies hotline. Don't bother with that. But I did leave a message saying, I'm a little concerned, I was exposed, I have the bat, blah, blah, blah. Nobody ever calls me back, ever. So, whatever. I don't think there is one anymore. So, I'm waiting till Monday, till the health department opens, and I can take the bat there to get tested. Meanwhile, just a little stress, I research about rabies, and turns out there's really only 1 to 3 people a year that die of rabies in the United States. Not very common, although you may have heard of the woman in Wyoming last week on October 7th. First case in Wyoming, she died of rabies from being bitten by a bat. The people who die of rabies in this country generally don't think they were exposed to the bat. They don't think they got the saliva on them. The only thing that's infectious from a rabid animal is the saliva, not the blood, not the urine, nothing else. The brain, if you get exposed to that, and the saliva. That's how rabies reproduces itself. It makes the animal want to bite things, and it's in the saliva, and therefore perpetuates itself. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should, if it's rabid, then maybe I should think about what am I going to do. And then I also look at, well, what are the signs of rabies? How does it start, just in case something should happen? And it's a tingling at the site of the exposure, some weakness, paralysis, and then generally acting crazy. So I think I'm okay on all those things, actually. But the thing about rabies also is it travels through nerves, not through the blood. So if it bites you on your big toe, you're in luck. It's a long way from the nerves up to your brain, and it could take weeks to even months to multiply and travel up to your brain until you show signs. The bad thing about rabies is once you start to show signs of rabies, you're gonna die of rabies. It's a horrible, horrible death. 99.9% of the people die. Once you show signs, there's nothing really you can do. So I wasn't bitten on my big toe. I was bitten up here. It's kind of close. Days, I'm thinking? I don't know. A little stress. So Monday morning, I take it in, say, yes, I was pretty much exposed. Well, did you have a bite? I'm like, I really can't say. It was on me. I was exposed. Please test this bat. I don't want it to have rabies. And they do. And I'm at work 3 days later, still no baby. And I get called by the head of the state health department in Colorado. And they say, Della, we know each other because of professional stuff. And he said, were you really exposed to this bat? And I'm like, yeah, I told him the whole story. He's like, oh my God. That bat tested positive. It was rabid when it was on you. I'm like, oh, crap. Now I talked to my OBGYN, who was an older guy about to retire. He thought he had seen it all. He hadn't seen this with exposure to rabies. So we don't know really what to do. And I call the CDC, the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta, Georgia, talk to their head guy for rabies. And he's somewhat reassuring. He says, you could die of rabies, but your baby will be fine. As it goes through the nerves. Great. Probably not good if the baby is motherless. So, yeah, he said, the baby's pretty much cooked by now. You're going to give birth anytime, so go ahead and get those shots. So he orders the shots, and I go to meet them in the emergency room. For some reason, I have to get them in the emergency room. And I didn't tell you, I, as a vet, and a lot of people who are exposed to wild animals or cavers, get pre-exposure rabies vaccines. So when I was a vet student, a long time ago, I got 3 shots as the initial series. And therefore, I sort of had a baseline. We don't know if it was protective or not. It's been so long. So I only had to get 2 shots. Now, if it's y'all, and you don't have the pre-exposure, it's 3 or 4 shots. But it's, again, not in the stomach. It's just like a flu vaccine. No real complications or anything. And I would advise it for people who, 1, wake up or come to in a room where there is a bat. That's happened to me a couple times and may have happened to you if you leave your windows open in Colorado like we do. And so you don't know when you're asleep, razor sharp, little needle teeth, you may not wake up. Or if there's a bat near a child and it is not going to know and you don't know if it's been exposed. So in those situations, you have 2 options. Capture and kill safely, not exposing yourself to the bat. Capture it, kill it, bring it into the health department. Or, more likely, let the bat do its thing and go get your post-exposure rabies vaccinations, just to be safe. Now you have to go through your doctor and your insurance, and they're horribly expensive. So about $250 per shot, and you'll need 2 or 3 of those. So it'd be nice if your insurance covered that. So it did cover it in my case since the bat was rabid, and we did test it. But something to think about if you're ever around a bat. Now, bats are great animals, right? They do a lot of good things for us, and it's too bad that they get rabies, and they die of rabies too. And the other animal here in Colorado is skunks that you'll have to beware of. So don't go helping abnormally acting wildlife of any sort, but especially not bats or skunks. So a few days later, after I get my rabies shots, I'm fine. We think the baby's fine. I give birth to a beautiful baby, red-headed girl. And she's healthy as can be. But at night sometimes, when I go in her room, she likes to hang upside down.